I used to be reticent about talking about that because it was always like, well, let's stigmatize this jazz musician. Let's talk about, oh, he's a criminal and all. But my wife, my dear departed wife, used to tell me, well, no, Sonny, don't be afraid to, or don't not want to talk about it because after all, you've been through it, you came through it, and it's a great experience. You conquered it, so to speak. So I don't mind talking about it now. We were following our idols, Charlie Parker, and we were told Billie Holiday used drugs and all this stuff. But my main influence, our main influence, was Charlie Parker. He was our messiah. And Charlie Parker used drugs. So all of us figured that, oh, well, gee, if he used drugs, it's okay. But it wasn't okay, because guys dropped through the holes. And in my case, I followed Charlie Parker and began using. Well, a lot of guys were using drugs. Really, wasn't Fats Navarro, the great trumpet player, died at a very early age from drugs. And a lot of the guys were on drugs, really. A lot of the great bebop players. And I went along and I got messed up. And it took me quite a while to straighten myself out. I went through some really terrible times. I mean, I don't know whether I should really even mention it, but you mentioned that I had to go to prison and all that stuff. Well, I mean, so I guess but I was in a state. I mean, they had me in a straitjacket at one time. And can you understand what it would feel like to be in a straitjacket? I know, I couldn't either, but I was, and it was brought about by sort of a drug psychosis in prison. I mean, I just went completely. But it was tough. It was tough. I mean, at that time, they put you in, there's a place in New York they used to call the Tombs. You've probably heard of it. I mean, it was like a living tomb with all the people. So I was there. And the withdrawal, physical symptoms, which were unbelievable. But I had my family. I was a very bad guy. I mean, I used to really steal from my house. I mean, I was just an outlaw, outcast. But my mother and my father was in the Navy. He wasn't really around during this time. But I was a pretty bad guy. But my mother's love and her belief in me, I think, and Charlie Parker, who took me aside and told me that this was not the way to be, that had a tremendous effect on me. So that I finally realized that, well, this is, I'm not going anyplace, I'm a pariah. I mean, people see me coming, they go across the street, So I eventually was able to go to a hospital. There used to be a big hospital in New York, not in New York, in Kentucky, Lexington, which was a very good place. It was a place where you were able to treat addicts, something like the Betty Ford Clinic in later years, you know. Anyway, you were treated in a humane manner as a sick person, not as a criminal. And you went there for a certain amount of time and you took what they call the cure. And this is what, and I went there voluntarily. And by that time, I was determined to get away from drugs. So I was able to go there, and through my determination to do it, that place served me well. If I didn't have the determination to stop, it would not have. It would just have been because there are people that went there that still used drugs when they came out, and so on and so forth. So, but it proved to be, several people over the years have come to me asking me about Lexington. In fact, there's recently a guy who wants to write a book about Lexington, the narcotics rehabilitation center there. I don't know if it was called narcotics. It's just a general rehabilitation. I have always been a person that has had a strong sense of right and wrong, a strong spiritual guide or guardian angel or belief, maybe. I don't know how to explain it, but a conscience, maybe. There was always something that inside of me that was talking to me all the time. And when something talks to me, like, well, but the thing with the drugs, I realized something said, yeah, and I finally came to me, well, this is not the way to go, you know. And I just have that in me. And when I find something that I want to do, I block out everything else and I do it. You know, I mean, it's a sense of right and wrong. You know, so it doesn't matter to me that people are saying, "Oh, how can you leave the music because they won't accept you back if you go away, and you'll lose your edge and all." I mean, this was inconsequential to me because I had an idea that I wanted to improve myself, my musical arsenal, if you will, and so I do what I want to do in that sense. I'm very strong about that, and this has held me in good stead. Just listening to the inner voice, and this is what I do, and I'm happy about it. That I have that much determination, if you want to call it that. But that's been my what I've done all my life. And the sabbaticals were the same. I realized I wasn't sounding as good as my reputation was. So I wanted to kind of get to that point where I wouldn't be ashamed to go on the bandstand, which happened to me one time on a job I was playing with Elvin Jones. At that time was the drummer playing with me. We used to go around, had a big sign, "Oh, Sonny Rollins is coming to town." Everybody was there, but I didn't sound good, and I knew I wasn't playing up to what I should be. So I said, okay, I'm getting out of here. I'm going to go in the woodshed, as they say.